Hey everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to our final leg of the Nascar 2022 tour from Walker Air Transport, where we have spent most of the year taking around VIPs to the various NASCAR races throughout the season. Today we're going to be going from Piedmont Triad near Greensboro to Phoenix Goodyear Airport for our final leg and the final race of the 2022 season at Phoenix, which took place on Sunday, November 6th, 2022. I've been running this series in line with basically the week to week, getting a flight available for you that would have taken place around that same weekend or on that same weekend in 2022. Obviously, the 2024 schedule was a little bit different, but this is the situation we're in. So my intent will be to use SayIntentions, which at this point today should have the alpha traffic running again, so I will not be using VSLTL, but what that means is we won't currently have any traffic on the ground because the alpha traffic that takes place is not doing ground traffic. It only does traffic once we take off. So we'll definitely kind of take a look at that. I'll probably show you some things from little nav map and so forth, which will show the traffic coming out of the airport and whatever else seems to be of interest. We're looking at a 1,600 plus mile journey, so this is going to be pretty long, but as always in this series, I'm likely just going to cover, the climb out, maybe a little bit more than that, and then we'll deal with coming back in so that the folks who want to see kind of the takeoffs, landings, and all of that can go ahead and do that. So starting early on Saturday, since it's a long flight, and we're also, we're going to be heading west, so we're actually going to kind of hopefully stay a little bit close to the time for our passengers. So we're going to have a good amount of this going on. So the way SayIntentions works is it uses not only live conversations that may be going on, but if anybody was here in the past, it will go ahead and include that so that we have basically quote-unquote live traffic calls going on with us. So I'm going to get self-loading cargo set here. I'm on a 737-700. Part of that is to test something in SayIntentions. So I've been having difficulty with its putting the frequency in standby mode, and I believe...
Good afternoon, clearance United 510, requesting IFR clearance to Indianapolis International with information Tango.
Getting a 737 turned around and going takes a little bit, so...
422, expect runway 23, right for departure, United 510.
So let me go ahead and...
United 510, read back correct.
I can't talk to ground yet.
Contact ground on 121.9er.
So let's see... Go ahead, I guess. We'll request catering service, and that may at least get us some activity where it might appear that things are happening. So what I want to do, because right now I don't have access to the ground crew, so they're not here yet, but it's telling us, 40 minutes before we're scheduled to depart. And that has to do with, just how long it takes per self-loading cargo's viewpoint. So cabin crew's not yet on board. They're probably going to be due in the next 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm guessing that will then also coordinate with some of the ground. It does seem to constantly be a little bit of a problem trying to get everything to play nice together. That's part of why I've been interested in some of the SayIntentions progress. They are talking about handling some of the things that something like GSX handles. They've got cabin crew interaction, but I don't think it's going to be the same where you're dealing with the cabin management and all that. So let's see, we'll go to performance, we'll look outside, there we go. I'm sure, yeah, we've got our folks there. I do want to go ahead and we'll get rid of the PMDG things. So let's do that. Ground services. We don't want... We want to release the stairs and the loaders. So, and this is then where it gets a bit confusing, because we'll request boarding. Alright, so it does appear that's moving along, and there we go. Now we have ground.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain.
Microphone check is...
Yep, we're still having some cutoff on things, which is unfortunate. And yes, we no longer have the warning in... Okay, so GSX choice is no. Because, yeah, that'll come later. Alright, now we have the doors open. Again, in theory, GSX will load the aircraft. So that should be part of boarding. Now, I'm not sure what I'm hearing, if it's... Okay, it's, yeah, my back catering truck. Alright, and GSX boarding is in progress, but I don't know that we have our folks, but I'm going to let everybody know.
Cockpit to ground.
Oops. I'm going to let them know we're starting the APU.
Go ahead.
We're starting the APU now. Stand by for ground power
I'm
disconnection in a few
guessing
minutes.
this is the crew finally on board. Yep.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. How are you?
Hi there. I'm very well, thanks.
Great. We're getting ready for takeoff. If you need anything else, just give me a call and I'll answer as quickly as I can. We're a little busy right now, though.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
All stations, prepare to start boarding.
So not the smoothest transition because I had GSX going. I wasn't sure that that's the best way to get the door open. And obviously once the door's open, people start boarding with GSX. So, that's where there's some disconnect with having some different things. But let me go get my APU running now. And then we'll be able to switch to ground power eventually and all that. But, now we'll go back here. So I should be able to get ourselves dialed in. We're going to be taking off on 23 left is what we're expecting. We're going to take the Trisha departure, Baud's transition. And then on arrival, we're going to be going on runway 03, the Desert 2 transition in Inwa. I will go with Inwa. And let's see.
Go ahead.
Team startup seems good. Nothing to report.
Please disconnect ground power.
Roger. Stand by.
So we'll go there. And now, once I'm running on power,
Clear to Myrtle Beach International Airport.
we'll use some of these.
Direct Fayetteville, direct departure. Dennis filed, maintain 5,000. Expect flight level 310 minutes after departure. Departure on 126.6, squawk 2425. Expect runway
All right.
32 for departure.
34,000 is what we have asked for our flight level.
023, read back, correct.
Roger.
That was me responding to the ground.
Hello?
Sorry.
Hi, Captain. We've started boarding now, and the passengers are being seated.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, it's a little goofy because it's finally now one on board, one seated, even though obviously GSX has been throwing numbers up at us for a while. I'm going to get our packs, set for engine takeoff. It's such a close little press. Alright, we'll get our pumps on. We do have center fuel tank requirements, quite a bit actually. So hopefully now that we have power, we can do this. My confusion here is there should be... Oh, it's RNAV 03. That's what I was missing, because I was looking for this Potter transition. So I should be okay. I'm just going to have to kind of see what things... Alright, because yeah, I'm thinking we repeated a few things here. Maybe not.
Ground to cockpit.
Because let's see, we're going to go Cacti to Potter. But let's see what ground has got for us.
Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Just a quick update to let you know that we started loading. We'll send the final load sheet up once we're ready.
Roger.
Alright, so let's take a look. There we go. Now we've got luggage getting put on. So that's the GSX we know and love. There was a update recently. I'm hoping, not quite sure exactly what they went after, but let's see. We're looking for Cacti, and then we're vectoring to Potter, but we're going to go ahead and do that as we're likely, that'll be a little more direct. And Potter brings us in kind of from the southeast, which is, we're coming in from the northeast, but that way we stay on the east side of Phoenix and kind of come down and have a long run up.
On Air 023 at the South Cargo ramp.
Alright, I'm going to
Request
quickly...
Our clearance to Myrtle Beach.
I'm going to quickly put us onto ATIS.
D if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. VFR departures contact clearance delivery on 121.75. Advise on initial contact you have information Golf.
Alright, information Golf.
Piedmont Triad International Airport.
So it's 3016.
1054 Zulu.
Goodness.
Wind 215 at 3. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 9er. Dew point 8. Altimeter 3016.
Alright, then we'll flip back to clearance. So that stays there. So that bodes well. So let me call for our clearance. Piedmont Triad, Walker 4021. Requesting IFR to Goodyear, Phoenix Airport. We have information Golf. So my concern is It doesn't know we're Walker. Why? That is...
Walker 4021 cleared to Goodyear via the Tricia 1 departure, then as filed. Climb and maintain 4000. Expect flight level 340 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 126.6, squawk 1136.
Alright, now that we called for clearance, it did pull it. So, initially it wasn't giving me that information, so... Cleared to Goodyear via the Tricia 1 departure, then is filed. Climb and maintain 4000. Expect flight level 340, 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 126.6, squawk 1136, Walker 4021. Alright, so now that we have that info, we know we need to take this down to 4.
4021, read back correct.
Need to take that down to 4. We can get all of our flight directors and such spinning up. And then we need to get our squawk code. And more importantly, do we see, yes, 126.6 is in the box for standby, which is what was not happening on the 737-600. So it's interesting that some of the planes work, some do not. Okay, 11:36. And we'll start squawking. That has now turned green in SayIntentions, so there's some visual things on the board. If you're unfamiliar with the interface, a lot busier than Beyond ATC, but you know, we've got all of our frequencies that we can use. It does allow you to double click on the frequency and it will tune your radio that way, so that's kind of as close as they get to auto tune. The intent of SayIntentions is supposed to be that you can operate as realistically as you'd like. So you're technically not supposed to, you know, use the interface at all if that's what's happening. It's designed to function that way.
Go ahead.
Loading has been completed. We're sending the load sheet up to you now. We'll contact you once the aircraft is closed up, then we'll get you moving.
Roger.
Alright. So we're set there. We're getting set. So, yeah, 126.6 is where we need to go to for ground. So I'm going to be flipping that over soon. You'll see that. But this one I said it turned green. This comes up red where it gives you that information. You know, and then you're set from there. But let me go back in here. So cruise is going to be flight level 340. For whatever reason, this does not ever pull in properly, even though it's on the plan. So I don't have an answer for why. But now that we have departure arrivals and all that, we've got our V speeds that we can get in there. And at this point then, again, kind of one more quick check for any discontinuities. I don't see any. So 8 pages, but again, some of the last page is usually the go-around info, which we're obviously hoping to never need. What I'm probably going to want to do... Yeah, okay, we've got a vector, so we're going to do this. Alright, and there we go. Alright, I am going to give the welcome aboard message, by the way.
Good morning from the cockpit. This is your captain speaking. My name is Bob, and I'd like to welcome you on board Walker 4021 from Greensboro to Goodyear. We're currently preparing for departure up here in the cockpit, and once we're airborne, we'll be climbing to our cruise level of 34,000 feet. We're not anticipating any delays, so we hope to be underway very shortly. The cabin crew will start securing the cabin once the aircraft is pushed back from the stand. As we make our way to the departure runway, please make sure you're seated and secured as they make their way around the aircraft. Once we're airborne, there shouldn't be any issue during our climb. It's a pretty straightforward departure out of the airport, so nothing to worry about there. It looks as though the en route winds are in our favor, so there shouldn't be any issue getting to our destination on time. However, we will keep you informed throughout the flight if that changes. Thank you very much for flying with us, and I hope you enjoy the flight.
All right. So.
Hello?
All right. I'm
Thank you.
thinking we got
Okay,
the load
looks
sheet.
like we're all set to go whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
There we go.
Expect runway
Great.
05
I'll make the
right,
call to remove the jetway, and you can close the
2997.
doors.
No problem.
80578.
All right. So let's go ahead and give our call to ground. Piedmont ground, Walker 4021, requesting push and start.
Walker 4021, contact ground for push and start.
I did contact ground. Oh, that's departure. So it gave us the departure. All right, let me flip.
United 510, flight level 48.
All right. So it didn't tune the right thing. All right. Piedmont ground, Walker 4021, requesting push and start.
Walker 4021, push and start approved, tail northwest.
Cherokee Piedmont Triad ground, roger. Taxi to parking at your discretion. Have a good day.
Tail northwest, Walker 4021. All right. So now we will go ahead and do that and request push and start because boarding is complete.
Ground, Cherokee 90 Juliet, clear runway 23 left at Kilo 3.
Yes, we're ready to release ground power. Now I will have to go here. I keep forgetting this. I did it last time where we need to go to ground and remove the chocks.
Greensboro ground, Cessna.
Okay, doors closed. And we are off as far as the official time. So we'll be waiting for them to connect up here.
Two Papa Greensboro ground, Roger Cessna. Say request.
Thought we were ready for that, but clearly not. We're going to continue pushback. Goodness, I always have
United 510, ready for taxi.
this fun here. Because, yeah, it should be ready to go. We're going to put the... There we go. Now we're ready. All right. And
Go ahead.
Call me when you're cleared for start.
all right, we're ready.
We're all
to go
set.
now.
So feel free to get connected and start when ready.
Please set your parking brake.
Cabin crew,
Prime Air
set doors to
023,
automatic
taxi to
compressed
runway 32 via Delta hold short of runway 32.
All right, so we're going to start our engine start here. So everything is spinning up. All right.
Ground tow is connected. Just heads up, UBT light is not
Alright.
active. Ground
So,
tow.
do
Greensboro
it.
ground, Paris 80578,
Go ahead.
taxi into FBO.
Your instructions.
I had to
If
do
you're about
that
to-
to,
As a reminder, if you're using software to track your virtual airline
so that it would
flight
work
started,
with what I needed there.
Roger.
Alright, let's see.
Toes attached. Steering pin is in service. Stand by while we start pushdown. Okay, Captain. We clear of the stand, and you're free to start engine.
578 Greensboro ground taxi to FBO via Alpha hold short of runway 32. Then continue taxi via Bravo.
Taxi Alpha, hold short, runway 32, then continue Bravo.
Alright, I'm having a problem with my flight tracking.
Looking to taxi to General Aviation hangar.
So that's not good. There we go. Alright, things are working. I'm like, do I have to... I've never had to deal with that before. I'm like, do I have to restart? But now it says pushing back and all of that.
Starting engine 1.
Roger.
Alright, so because engine 2 was on before, we're going to lose that. So that's unfortunate. As far as the self-loading cargo score. Alright, I thought I had... Okay. Parking brake is set.
Ground, Prom Air 023, ready for pushback and engine start.
Piedmont Triad Ground Prime Air 023 Triad Ground pushback and engine start approved. Expect runway 32 for departure. Information Bravo is current.
Alright, so now we're going to go up here. We're going to get that one going. Now that one flipped, so we're going to get that going. We can now turn off the APU. And we can get our pack set so that all of our air conditioning and all that work. And our, most importantly, our pressurization. Alright, we'll get the air throttle armed. Auto throttle armed, not air throttle. And we'll get our... let's see. There we go, 80. We'll go with 160. Get that set. Get our flaps set.
Okay, Captain. Looks like a good startup on all engines until it's disconnected. Nose wheel is free, so you're good to go. We'll get ourselves disconnected now, so have a safe flight. Look out for the pin on the left, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks very much for your help. Pin on the left, and we'll see you again soon.
Alright. Piedmont Ground, Walker 4021, ready for taxi. So let's see where it suggests we go.
Walker 4021, taxi to runway 23 left via Juliet 2 Kilo 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board this Walker Air transport flight. We please ask your attention.
So you can hear our flight attendants working.
On this aircraft. Please make sure your bags are either in the overhead compartment or under the seat in front of you. It's important to fasten your seatbelt, even when the sign is off, in case we pass through unexpected turbulence. During taxi, takeoff, and landing, please fasten your seatbelt and make sure your seat...
Taxi to runway 23 left via Juliet 2 Kilo 6, Walker 4021.
Will fall from above your seat. Please wear yours first before helping children and others. In case of an emergency, there are doors in the front, middle, and back of this aircraft.
Alright, just trying to get enough visibility in my little nav map so that I know where I am at. Alright, I still can't see the taxiways. They're just not labeled. So where is 23 left? Let me find that, I guess. Alright, 23, okay. So Kilo... It's interesting because I'm not seeing these numbers at all. Juliet 2... Yeah, wherever these are, they're interesting. So, we're gonna just make our way the best we know how. How about that? So, get ourselves cranked up a little bit. I want to be around 30. But we are facing the correct way. There we go. It always takes a little while to get going. It's always kind of fun. Alright, now departure is going to be 126, or 126.6 is, although tower is 119. So I think that's where we're going to have to go first. Alright, this is in theory strong enough, but maybe because we have a little more fuel on board. It's definitely rolling a little slower than I would expect for what we've got. So let's see, can we get LNAV? We can't, but we can get VNAV, and the reason we probably can't get LNAV is because we're at such an angle. So sometimes we gotta take off a little higher.
Hello?
Hi, Captain. Everyone's seated and secured for takeoff.
You can take your seats now. We're almost ready.
No problem.
Alright. So good news is
All stations, please be seated for takeoff.
we are all set. And we have done everything we need because we've taken that bit of time. So we'll get ourselves out here to the taxiway, turn left, and head on down. We've got a ways to go to get to the end of the runway here. So a lot of blocky square buildings. Again, I don't know how well. I don't think I have.
Continue taxi on taxiway Lima. Hold short of taxiway Bravo.
I do not.
Continuing on Lima, holding short of Bravo, Embraer 225 Echo Mike.
I do not think I have any information for this airport that it's a custom airport that I found anything for Greensboro. I don't normally come here that often, so usually the ones I focused on are ones that would be of more immediate benefit. Like I've got O'Hare from FS Dream Team, things like that. Some of the larger airports that I expect to visit. Some of the other things that I'm flying around in, sometimes I do have those, but so yeah, so this is kind of the end of the terminal per se in Greensboro. So yeah, it's a little bit choppy, so I will say as we get in preparation for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, I had tried to upgrade graphics card, but a 4000 series card won't fit in my computer. So that was 2 weekends ago that I went through that. So I got all excited, got things ordered, new power supply, new graphics card, some memory, and of all those things, the only thing I could use was the memory. And again, I wouldn't have needed the power supply even if it had fit.
Runway 36, Tornado 892, Tango Oscar.
Right, so now we are a little far. And again, you can see the problem. We've got lights for the taxiways like in the middle of the pavement, which obviously are not accurate. So there's those kind of challenges with things, which once again is why we're told by people who flight sim a lot, just play without collisions, because otherwise you'll hit a dip in the ground and your plane will record as crashed. Alright, so this is our taxiway here. And that should be it. Because, yeah, the next one, there's theoretically some runway stuff there, but Not really what we want. Alright, so we'll drop that down. We'll switch to tower. Piedmont Tower, Walker 4021, holding short, runway 23 left. Request departure clearance.
Walker 4021, runway 23 left, winds 215 at 3. RNAV Wayne, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 23 left, cleared for takeoff, Walker 4021. So let me get up here, which again, I unfortunately hadn't turned on my taxi lights, so that's probably going to give me a problem.
3 miles. Same altitude, type unknown.
Alright, just quick check of everything else. We're good. I don't know why it takes 2 presses to get going, but it does. Okay, we are at 5. So we are all set there. Probably power this up a little bit more. Okay, we've already told our crew to take their seats, so everybody should be good. And then we'll see, because in theory when we take off, we should get requested to change to departure, which should give us the departure frequency again. Right. And again, we're a little hard on the engines, 34% on N1, but again, by the time we're really at a dangerous speed or a speed that would be too fast to taxi, we should be
10 o'clock, 4 miles.
we should be taking off.
Cessna 172.
So we're just going to rotate on and power up and go.
Primary 02 tree contact departure.
Once I'm set here. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll get ourselves throttled up a little. Hit our toga point.
Contact departure, primary 02 tree.
And away
Primary
we go.
02 tree. Primary 02 tree, good day.
Tower United 510, holding short runway 5 right, ready for
So
departure.
set myself down the runway pretty well.
Lane 422 Alpha Mike, make left traffic runway 12
100
cleared for
KTs.
takeoff.
Making left traffic cleared for takeoff, runway 12, Skylane 422 Alpha Mike.
2 Delta Bravo winds 260
Okay,
at 1
we're at
runway 23
V1,
left, cleared to land.
pulling back. Got ourselves at about 10%. There we go. Get gear up.
Positive rate, gear up.
We are flattening out. I don't know why. Normally, the 737 does a good job of continuing, but it's not.
2 Delta Bravo, welcome to Greensboro. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Let's see. Are we good here? We are good there.
Piedmont Triad Tower winds 029er at 10 runway tree 2, cleared for takeoff.
There we go. Took a little bit.
Runway tree 2, clear for takeoff. Primary 02 tree.
Get our flaps up.
Skyhawk 542 Alpha X-ray turn
And
left heading 090 vector for
there
traffic.
we go, away from the airport.
090 Skyhawk 542 Alpha X-ray. Walker 4021, contact departure.
Cherokee Roger, report midfield downwind.
Contact departure, Walker 4021. So we'll flip over. Piedmont departure, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, Greensboro approach. Radar contact. Cleared direct Tricia. Climb and maintain flight level 210.
Clear direct Tricia, climb and maintain flight level 210.
Mo. Expect the RNAV runway 18 center approach into Charlotte.
Alright, so because we had kind of captured the speed, usually I'll do a V-speed, get the plane going up, and then when you switch, you're not waiting for it to do something.
Kgso, we are requesting the ILS approach to runway 18 center.
Catbird 4 Bravo Delta cleared direct Gizmo. Expect the
Alright,
ILS
so I
runway
am going to
18
try
approach
something
into
here.
Charlotte.
I'm not
Descend
sure
and
how
maintain
this is going to work.
12,500. Report established on the localizer.
Let's see.
Greensboro approach November 85 will pop up 25 miles to the west at 3,500. Greensboro approach Catbird.
I'm going to see, because I realized I was not on certain things. So hold on. Greensboro approach, Walker 4021. It might tell us to do some other...
Walker 4021, good morning.
Okay.
Approach Catbird 104 Bravo Delta. We're at 9,200, descending to 5,000. Inbound Papa Echo Golf Tango Echo.
Alright, so I was on the wrong server for SayIntentions. You have to be on the experimental server for the traffic to work. So unfortunately,
Walker 4021,
we don't have that right now.
270.
Climb and maintain flight level 270, Walker 4021.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the
So I'm hoping it will adapt, but my guess is it might be too long. We might just have someone who's actually flying. I've got one plane on my scope, but I should have a good amount more here, and I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign, which means you are free to move around the cabin. However, you are reminded that for your safety, we do recommend that you remain seated.
We'll
with
go
your
up
belt
here,
fastened at all times
past
in case of
10,000, we'll get our landing lights off.
that could occur during the flight. Thank you.
American 5021 Greensboro approach. Good evening, altimeter 3006.
Alright, we're going to have drink service. Well, movie will start actually first.
Walker 4021, contact Atlanta Center on 128.8.
Atlanta Center 128.8, Walker 4021.
Charlotte
So
approach
this is our big test. Alright, we are good there. That's always helpful, because that kind of simulates the co-pilot getting that into the comms for you. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, 13,000 feet, on my way to FL flight level, 270. Silly me.
Walker 4021, Atlanta Center, good morning, Walnut Cove, altimeter 30.15.
Alright, so in theory that changes things a tiny bit. So, you know, and I think we're supposed to make those kind of changes and so forth. So, going ahead, obviously, and doing that. Alright, so moving along nicely. Very clear day. Don't know if that's what we're going to have the whole way. With SayIntentions, they do encourage you to fly with real weather because they are pulling weather from a weather service. And so they may do deviations and things based on that. Yeah, I've got no other traffic appearing yet. So I wonder if that's because I'm airborne. I'm also wondering if I need to kind of request another clearance. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, request IFR clearance to Goodyear, Phoenix.
Walker 4021 Atlanta Center, climb and maintain flight level 320.
Maintain flight level 320, Walker 4021.
To Goodyear via the Trisha 1 departure, then is filed. Climb and maintain 4000. Expect flight level 340 10 minutes after departure. Departure on 126.6 squawk 1136. Runway 23 left for departure.
See, and there might be some of that because I did have a plane appear behind me a little bit. Although, again, it could be. Like, until I get a bunch of planes, so I'm not pulling over my little nav map yet. Because until I get more, there should be a good amount more of traffic, so I am surprised. Because they were doing some maintenance on it till I think like 5 p.m. my time yesterday. But we're obviously past that. So, I don't know. So unfortunately, maybe this will not be something I could show you, because I was hoping I could show you from Greensboro just everything that was happening and what SayIntentions was doing. But it doesn't look like it. So you can see we'll be turning. Okay, we're at transition level.
Good evening, Delta 865 with you, flight level 370.
But yeah, right now we got one other that appeared. So, but it's just not really showing. I mean, I guess I'll bring it over just so you can kind of see. But so these two showed up afterwards. There's a plane down here that flew down. What it will do is it'll put traffic out and it'll sequence them and they'll leave via SIDS. So you'll see a line of airplanes heading out, you know, or several lines and several lines coming in. You know, that's what I was hoping to show, but we don't have anything around the Greensboro airport, as you can see. And that's what then made me realize, wait a minute, I'm on the primary server, which doesn't have traffic. So, my bad on that, but certainly not going to start the whole flight over just to fix that. We'll have plenty of flights in the future. Climb and maintain flight level 340, Walker 4021. Alright, that should be our last thing. Good news is it did give us the same clearance, so even though I changed servers, like somehow they were aware. Yeah, there's just a lot of low-level planes, so there's another one that showed up. Now, the only thing I will say right now, it is injecting basically what looks like a bunch of general aviation aircraft. Again, they may be commercial aircraft, but the numbers they're giving them, according, you know, their November something, is all I've seen. I don't see like United and what you'd expect from a big airport like this. All right, so they're supposed to be doing our movies. Again, I do not know. I noticed this was self-loading cargo on my last flight, so we're not getting. We're not getting the full text all the time, or the full audio. So I don't know if SayIntentions and self-loading cargo are overstepping each other. And that's what's causing the issue.
Catbird 104 Bravo Delta, flight level 160, inbound Gulf Sierra Oscar.
Alright, so.
Catbird 104 Bravo Delta, Atlanta Center. Good evening, altimeter 3003.
So.
Delta 8877, contact Washington Center on 124.05.
If you watched my last.
124.05, good day.
If you watched my last episode of this series, that catbird gentleman, you probably will recall. So as I said, the way SayIntentions works is it will use old calls when people were here. Greensboro may not be incredibly busy, so there may be. So what I take that to be is that there's very few folks with SayIntentions that have flown into or out of Greensboro, and so we're not getting a lot of chatter that way. And that's why we have repetition. All right, so the movie is running. Let me see.
Delta 8877 Washington Center. Say again, your last transmission, you were unreadable.
It's not giving me... There we go, an hour and 46 minutes on the movie, so we're good. That's always my concern. I ended up having a problem with that on my last flight. I got a C- from self-loading cargo last time. It was bad.
We will be starting our in-flight drink service in a few moments. If you could please clear all aisles and ensure that any bags are placed in the overhead lockers, it would be most appreciated. Thank you.
So SayIntentions offers basically some additional assistance on internal intercoms or additional immersion options. They recently announced something called Entourage.
Delta 8877. Good evening.
Alright, so before I continue discussing, I'm going to pull this back, because we're getting a little bit of what I would expect. You can see these are kind of lined up. They're at very different altitudes, so it's not quite what you would see. Let me see if I go out to Greensboro. No. Yeah, we don't have much over at the airport, so we're okay here. We might be able to tell as we start coming in to Phoenix. And sometimes it will spawn things over other airports, so as we get closer, you'll suddenly start having traffic. Because the Tri-Cities Airport up in northern Tennessee is not probably that loud. Large is what I meant, not loud.
The altimeter again for Charlotte Douglas for altimeter, United 380. Catbird 104 Bravo Delta Atlanta Center. Descend and maintain 5,000.
Descending to 5,000 feet.
Alright, we're getting up to 30,000, so we're getting close. But we should have our cruise. So we're down, as you can see, already, instead of 8, we're down to 6 pages, so we've gotten rid of like 10 waypoints already. So anyway, so they released something under the name of Entourage, which was their response to someone who doesn't want a subscription, and they want a kind of one-time pay thing.
Switching to 126.6. Good day.
The big piece that people need to understand is Entourage doesn't have air traffic, so all of this doesn't come with Entourage, what you're hearing right now. I'm not technically using anything that would be part of Entourage, but I have it available to me.
We are about to serve our drink selection, including tea, coffee, and cold beverages. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle. Thank you.
So, an Entourage includes things like tour guides, mentors, cabin crew. Basically what they're trying to build out is this world of all the other people that are involved in your flight.
Atlanta Center, contact Charlotte approach on 120.05.
And part of what they don't have is the ground handling.
On 120.05. Good day.
But they have been talking about including that.
Center, Catbird 104 Bravo Delta. Descending to flight level 160.
But what we're unclear about...
Catbird 104 Bravo Delta, Atlanta Center, good evening.
Yes.
Delta 128, contact Washington Center on 124.05.
So, part of what I found interesting thus far is it's fun and it's a little bit good training to hear other people do ATC as well, so... I would. It seems I'm a little more comfortable than the Catbird gentleman. He seems to be very deliberate, a little slow, spelling out things that you'd normally say, stuff like that. So, again, not wrong. Just and the nice thing is, SayIntentions can deal with that, where you might have a little bit of trouble with something like Beyond ATC. So, I'm not entirely saying I'm abandoning Beyond ATC, but until I start having any kind of problems with SayIntentions, which I may not, right now, this is what I'm looking at. And part of that is certainly, right now, I have not paid the annual subscription yet. I just did a month, which is going to get me about another 3 weeks still of usage before I need to make a decision. It'll be mid-November. And then I can decide what I want to do if I'm going to go ahead.
Flight level 130.
And my intent likely is to do that, to pay and just continue using it going forward, because I do like what they're offering. And I think the tour guides, for example, I'm looking at using those in my VFR flights, and I think that could be a really cool way to handle those and add some
4 Bravo Delta
some unique
and maintain 15,000.
And add something unique into that series. It's going to be more helpful when I'm not just going point to point, like I will be on my next flight. Leg 8 of that Around the World series is just a straight flight again, just continuing my way across the Atlantic. And then we've got one in the middle that would really be a kind of my first test for the tour guides in earnest. I mean, I'll still probably try to use the tour guides in all the flights, but I just don't think we're going to get a lot. Alright, so it is...
Bravo Delta descend and maintain 11-1000.
We are getting a few planes here and there.
42, contact Atlanta Center on 124.25.
But the skies, what I will say right now, the skies aren't as busy as they are with FSLTL. And in theory, the traffic, they said, will work with FSLTL, so that you can run both and they'll coexist. But at this point,
Bel Air 7 Whiskey Alpha, contact Charlotte approach on 120.05.
What I'm frankly hoping for is, I think FSLTL gives me a lot of challenges with a little bit of the frame rate around busy airports.
Use ILS runway 18 left approach into Charlotte with Charlie Alpha Victor India transition.
Pretty sure that's Catbird. So we'll see if that's what tower responds to him. I think that's what it is. And but you can see how kind of deliberate and a little bit slower than most his calls are. But it's interesting because it sometimes gives you some comfort, like, hey, I'm not doing too poorly. There's a little bit of, hey, I'm not that person. Which is not something I encourage anybody to do, is like, hey, I'm better than them. But in some situations, obviously, you're looking at things somewhat in that perspective. But I'm certainly not doing it in a derogatory way, like, laughing at them. Oh my goodness, they're terrible. Now, I will say, I have heard some calls that were like, wow, that they are a little bit humorous, like, But that's the benefit of working with the SayIntentions.
Descend and maintain 6,000. Then for me, turn left heading 220. That's 4 vectors to the ILS approach, runway 18 left, and you'll be using the Kgso-Kgyr transition.
Alright, well, they sound a little bit robotic for sure.
6,000 feet. We'll turn left heading 220, vectors ILS approach runway 18 left.
And using the Charlie Alpha Victor Victor India transition.
For Bravo Delta, contact Charlotte approach on 120.05.
So that right there
351 heavy, proceed
was-
direct to fix this intersection.
was the other thing that I did ask some folks about,
351 heavy.
because there is a push to talk button in, so I'm having to push a key when I make those calls. So right now, like SayIntentions isn't hearing me. I'm not pressing the key and so forth. So I'm used to in Beyond ATC when you do that, like you come back, there isn't someone that was clearly talking as well. And when I said, well, is this a problem? Like, is SayIntentions not solved this yet? And the SayIntentions leads were like, no, they're like, this is what happens in the real world. Like,
617 Atlanta Center, Roger.
people will overtalk each other. It's a real problem. And so they're like, yeah, we don't avoid that because it is what happens. So basically, if they queue up another audio file in the background as part of the chatter, we may stop talking and suddenly hear them. All right. So I'm getting a few planes here and there, so we are past Tri-Cities. But basically, it's interesting. It's interesting that everything is spawning behind me. I'm not getting any traffic spawning ahead of me yet.
Center, Catbird 104, Bravo Delta, flight level 170, inbound, Alpha Zulu Echo Lima Lima.
Catbird 104, Bravo Delta, Atlanta Center, Roger.
See, so like Catbird spelled out what I think would be Azel, is how most of the pilots would say it, and instead they're spelling it at, the approach out phonetically. So which again it can be understood. It just obviously takes longer and so forth. So So yeah, with the Entourage thing, you then could assign 2 internal, what they call intercom buttons in SayIntentions, and then you're able to basically talk to either tour, maybe tour guides and cabin crew, or a co-pilot and cabin crew. So it's kind of being built to set that up. Right now, I just have one intercom button.
On 127.85.
Atlanta Center 127.85, Walker 4021. Atlanta Center, Walker 4021, flight level 340. Now it says Indianapolis Center, which is interesting.
Walker 4021, Indianapolis Center, good morning.
So yeah, when I responded, like it said contact Atlanta Center, but then I changed it, to what it asked, and I said Atlanta Center 127.85, and that already told me I was at Indianapolis Center, so we must have just crossed a line or something. It's interesting. So again, not perfect.
120.05. Good day.
Catbird 104, Bravo, Delta, Atlanta Center, traffic at your 3 o'clock, 6 miles, at 10,500 feet, type unknown. 4 Bravo, Delta, contact Charlotte approach on 120.05.
Switching to 120.05 for Charlotte approach. Good day.
So yeah, the other thing that they've got in experimental phase is something called cabin crisis, which basically will introduce random events into your flights potentially. You can set, what percentage that is from 10 to 100%.
4 Bravo, Delta, descend and maintain 7,000.
And the way they've explained it is, calculating out what they've coded and how it works. They said there's potentially 10 billion different possibilities.
With you at flight level 340.
Which I don't know. It's a little hard to believe that it's that, because again, I don't know that there's 10 billion random events that could happen, but in like life, in real life. I mean, there's only so many things that could happen on a plane. Like, you're suddenly not going to have a car hit your plane at 34,000 feet, for example, or you're not going to run into a cow. You know, so people are going to have medical emergencies. You know, different equipment will fail, which could be hundreds of different things, and then how you respond can branch off into, you know, what turns into thousands of potential storylines. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure storybook is, I guess, what I'm looking at, and I'm assuming that's how they kind of calculated stuff and basically said, well, you know, you make this happens, and then you can give, you know, 50 different responses to that, and so based on those there could be 3 or 4 for each, and so, you know, now you're up to like 150 and blah blah blah. But, you know, getting to 10 billion, that's a lot, you know, and some of it I'm sure is just the number of airports you have. Contact 126.575, Walker 4021. So they're below us, but we'll go ahead. So we've got something approaching. There it is. But they're about 3,000 feet below us. So yes, it's traffic, but it just spawned that recently. So that was the closest we got to someone ahead of us, because they were slightly ahead of us coming in this direction.
Maintaining flight level 380.
But now if I pull over the map for you, you can see there's more happening. And again, I'm not running FSLTL, but like this stuff, this is where I think that, you know, these are the things they're going to need to work out, because they do sequencing, but I do think these are too close together. But you can see they're, you know, and they're far apart. They're 6,000 feet apart, and you know, a lot more apart. So that's a little bit of what is going on that is not perfected, but this is only phase 1 of 3, and this again is alpha. So this isn't even that they've released it for beta or things like that. And so as part of this partner program that they started like a week ago, they're basically saying, hey, you can do this. I have a checkbox I can turn on and off, because they said there's a possibility things could crash. I'm taking a bit of a chance here that it won't, because it hasn't for me on 4 or 5 flights that I've played with this on. You know, because again, a flight this long, like having to restart it or whatever because my thing crashes to desktop, would not be ideal. Especially if it somehow happens toward the end. So I'm giving them a little bit of trust on this, but in most cases, you know, my flights aren't this long in a lot of cases. Now, what I'm going to have to figure out, because I have introduced a pilot's life, as you've seen if you follow the flight sim content on the channel. That, I think, is going to become a lot more of the commercial flying type of thing. Not that Walker is fully that. I mean, that's why I enjoy Walker, is it's not just United, it's not American, whatever. But those I don't tend to have on the channel. So, to kind of fill that gap, I had decided, yeah, I'm going to do a pilot's life. And so definitely those will be coming, and those, you know, could be slightly longer in the future. I mean, right now my flights, you know, I've got a schedule that's a bunch of, I think, short haul. So I never changed the first time. Contact Indianapolis Center 124.625. So this is where SayIntentions is a little bit forgiving. I don't know that it should be, but maybe I'm also not at the highest quote-unquote difficulty. I'll explain that in a bit. Indianapolis Center, Walker 4021, flight level 340.
Atlanta Center, Catbird 104, Bravo Delta at flight level 240. Good afternoon.
Walker 4021, Indianapolis Center, good morning.
Now it's interesting that it included the Catbird Atlanta Center, but again, I'm sure it's because it's the same frequency in the vicinity. Because Atlanta would be
Center,
south of us.
American 1012 with the flight level 360.
American 1012, contact Indianapolis Center on 126.575.
So there you go. It basically is transferred over to the same control or TRACON traffic control that I'm on, Indianapolis Center. They're moving him over. But yeah, so all of that development, all of that stuff is where I'm, you know, and kind of feedback from other VAs, as I've talked about, has given me the, well, let me, you know, maybe it's time to give SayIntentions a try. It dropped down. All right.
Center 126.575. See ya.
So they are descending, we are above, but that plane that's coming at us, you can see the contrail. They're at 32,300, so they're over 2,000 feet below, which should be enough clearance, but I'm sure for traffic radar they should let me know. And I think when it appeared on my scope, it was within 2,000 feet. So in theory it's still in front of me, but we've kind of lost the contrail. But I don't see any traffic here on the screen. So now what I had seen is I was coming into land at one point and it spawned something, and my autopilot actually took me up for a bit, for like 3 seconds, and then brought my descent back down. So it was almost a little bit of a roller coaster. So again, that's part of the challenge with this being an alpha thing, is sometimes, yeah, it literally spawns a plane on final approach like a mile from you, which would obviously be dangerous. So, but since I have collisions off, like yes, I might have a plane fly through me, but it should be okay. And I probably would have to take over manually to avoid, obviously, the autopilot reacting to it and so forth. So the cabin crisis, like the system failures, in theory it's supposed to do things like your actual systems will react to it, like it will adjust things. And they talked about probably the most impactful, that frankly scares me the most, because I don't even know the process for doing it, because I've never done it in flight sim or, you know, anywhere, obviously. Right, so now we can see again, yes, it spawned a plane next to us. Again, that one's at 31,000 feet and descending. So I think these are all heading to probably Kilo Charlie Papa Foxtrot. I'm guessing they're on some sort of a rival route for that. A star heading in there. So again, I'll give you a peek.
3 Kilo Lima, contact Indianapolis Center on 126.375.
So if I pull this over a bit, we've got those planes we looked at, but these have showed up, and then these are the last two that we've gotten traffic. So they seem to be maybe heading in here, and then they'll come in and land. But this is kind of the sequencing.
126.375, 3 Kilo Lima.
That's a sequencing you start to see with what SayIntentions is doing. And so I'm assuming over time, because they talked about liveries, and they also, and kind of in phase 2, they're going to be doing speed changes. So that will also help.
At or below 5,000, Cessna 723 Foxtrot Lima.
That will help to clean up those planes that are on top of each other. So, but yeah, not sure there's much more I can say at this point on the SayIntentions front or anything like that. But you know, we're now less than a month away from Flight Simulator 2024. I've got it on pre-order, so I will have it quickly.
Indianapolis Center on 126.9 or 25.
I'm going to assume I can jump into it and transition right away, since everything should work, but, you know, we'll see how that goes. Because obviously I'm going to be in the middle of things. I'm going to have my virtual airlines that I'm working with, but obviously there's also the career options that exist in 2024. So we'll have to see how or in what ways all of that interacts. With one of the VAs I've recently started playing around with a lot, Firefly Air, which is Two-Tone Murphy's group on FS Hub, has about 800 people in it, looks like. Now again, that's a VA.
American 621.
Alright, it spawned one in front of me kind of again, but it's only at 1,000 feet, so I can't even imagine we're going to get any traffic warning. But it's kind of in that same spot, and obviously that one is rising. So now it's at 1,600 feet, but we're almost over it, so it's not going to suddenly come into my path. But Firefly Air, like, it's very, very casual. There's no, hey, you got to fly once every 30 days. That's one of the reasons I'm like, I'll take a look at it. But I've gotten sucked in because they have a cool competition board thing where you, as you earn your experience, you get ranked, and so kind of in the, you know, we'll call it the qualifying group that I'm in, being new. There's a lot of us kind of fighting for spots, and only the top 3 people kind of get promoted to one of the 5 upper leagues that are smaller groups of 12 that you're really just competing with a small group then. So I'm trying to do that, but that is a months-long process. Right now I'm second. I hope to kind of maintain that. You know, I've got a good gap between me and the 3rd place and potentially 4th place individual, because again, if I fall to 3rd, it wouldn't be the end of the world as long as I stay ahead of the 4th place person. So I'm way ahead of them by about like 10,000 experience, where I'm approaching 20. So you know, I'm like 50% up from where it would be. But there was another person that, as we were kind of climbing up, that I was kind of fighting with, and I got ahead of them.
Flight level 320 on the Ryman 2 arrival into Nashville.
Alright, and yeah, Nashville has just appeared on my map.
Center, good evening.
So, you know, to the south.
Center velocity 010 Tango.
I don't know what that was.
15 mile final.
Someone have a cat on there? Wow.
Williamsburg, Whitley County.
That was kind of odd. I've not heard that one before. I would remember that for sure. So, but it's cool that it was able to like ignore the wow, whatever that. Because like as soon as we started talking, it meowed first. I'm assuming it was like right in his face or something, but that was funny. So there are some funny things, but again, it wasn't that individual. It was their cat. So they did an excellent job. They didn't get distracted.
United 510, good day.
United 510, good day.
Indianapolis Center, United 510, flight level 281.
So, I mean, if you're still with me and you've been listening and watching and whatever, thanks. Definitely appreciate someone who's hanging around and just enjoying the flight. And I'm probably going to go ahead at this point, step away, and come back a little closer. Because, you know, we've got a ways to go. We haven't even gotten far enough west to be at Nashville yet. Let me take a quick peek so I have kind of an idea of what we've got ahead of us here, because now we're at altitude and at speed. Yeah, it's still telling me 3 hours, 13 minutes, over 1,300 miles to go still of our 16. So definitely a long way to go. I'm certainly not going to keep you with me that long. We got our one and only food service scheduled in 18 minutes. Drink service has come and gone. The next one's going to come up in a little over an hour.
Indianapolis
So,
Center, Southwest 4615, flight level 335, climbing flight level 350.
but, you know, I'll keep moving along here, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of a clearer view of the traffic situation as we get closer and start coming into Phoenix-Goodyear. And hopefully it won't cause us a disaster at the end, because obviously I need to land well. And it is a little bit of a short runway, so I do need to be careful with that as well. Get that turned off. And with that, I will see you in a bit. Alright, we are coming up here on the top of descent. So there we go. I've been letting Amanda, my co-pilot, handle the comms for a bit here as we've been coming across. So at this point, I'm going to get them back from her. Amanda, I'll take back the comms, please.
Comms control handed over to you, Captain.
Alright, so SayIntentions has the co-pilot like that. Alright, yes, we're on with Memphis Center, is what it's saying. We are basically passing... Are we already? We can't possibly be at Phoenix already. But maybe we are, and then we'll just have to descend and head over. I wouldn't think we have enough miles for that, but we'll assume we will. Yeah, it hasn't actually called. Memphis Center, Walker 4021, descending to runway 3 at Goodyear Airport.
Walker 4021, expect the RNAV runway 3 approach into Goodyear. Desert 2 arrival. J, transition. Advise ready to descend, otherwise I'll give you your descent in 5 minutes.
It actually says negative 5 minutes, because we've started. Advised ready to descend, Walker 4021.
Walker 4021, descend via Desert 2 for the RNAV runway 3 approach into Goodyear. Altimeter 30.06.
Descend via Desert 2 for the RNAV runway 3. Walker 4021. And it's actually now Albuquerque Center, so... But yes, we are going the way we would expect to go. So I'm going to actually go over to my Navigraph, and yeah, we're in pretty good shape here. So if you take a peek, coming down here, we're going to head down and around. So we do have some distance
Walker
to cover.
4021, descend via Desert 2 for the RNAV runway 3 approach into Goodyear. Altimeter 30.03.
Expect the RNAV runway 3 approach. Desert 2 arrival, J transition. We'll advise when ready to descend. Walker 4021.
Alright, well, clearly she didn't do it. Descending past 25,000 feet, Walker 4021. Albuquerque Center, ready to descend. Let's see if that works, because it really, I mean, it's told us.
Walker 4021, descend via Desert 2 for the RNAV runway 3 approach into Goodyear. Altimeter 30.03.
Descend via Desert 2, Walker 4021. Alright, so in theory we're following that, but we're not on the Desert 2. So yes, we're going to Potter, which is 32.3, and Potter, we don't need to be at anything. We need to be at 5,000 at Higney. So I will dial that in since we're not getting anything specific, because that would be how we want to descend, and then hopefully everything gets calculated that way and all will be good. Alright, it is a pretty short runway, so we're going to put the brakes up pretty high. I don't know that I need to go to max. We should be okay.
Walker 4021, contact Albuquerque Center on 135.15.
135.15, Walker 4021. Albuquerque Center, Walker 4021, flight level 205, descending.
Walker 4021, Albuquerque Center, good morning.
All right. So I'm at 303. That'll raise me up a bit when we hit the transition level, so then we'll have to descend a little bit quicker for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the landing monitor already, because otherwise we forget. So these are kind of the outskirts of Phoenix at this point. Most of Phoenix proper is behind us. So there you go. Quite a big expanse there. Alright, so we're going to hit the transition. And again, 2700, now it's 2750, 2800. So it'll drop a little quicker for a moment till it starts to catch up, and now you can see that arrow coming up, and then it will start to back off. But let's see. I'm going to go ahead and
Walker
get this
4021,
on.
Albuquerque Center, descend and maintain 7000, turn right heading 200 vectors for the RNAV runway 3 approach, altimeter 30.00.
Descend and maintain 7000, Walker 4021. I'm going to stay on where I'm going. It was interesting because what it said is the Senate maintains 7,000 is what it thought I said, but then it got it right, and descend and maintain 7,000 is what it put in. So, all right, but you can see as we get up here on Potter, it's
447 Hotel with you 20,000 Mach 0.48.
Tradewind 447 Hotel, Albuquerque Center. Good morning.
So it's a little bittersweet, I guess, to get this done. I mean, it has been a long, long time. Because if I look, we have been working on this since
Airport at
February
6 miles.
of this
Change
year.
to advisory frequency approved.
So this
Report
has been,
cancellation of IFR or missed approach this frequency.
I mean, at this point, I have spent more time in this tour than I have all the time I've been flight simming.
Albuquerque Center,
So,
Hondajet 273 Charlie with you. 15,000 for flight level 210.
Walker 4021, descend and maintain 7000, turn right heading 220 vectors for the RNAV runway 3 approach, altimeter 30.00.
my goodness, why is the altimeter changing so much? Descend and maintain 7000, Walker 4021. Yeah, it's wanting me to turn, and I obviously keep going toward Potter. So it's kind of trying to fix things. And eventually, if it feels I'm way off course, it'll say something. It'll be like, hey, we want to get you back on course.
Delta 198, climb and maintain flight level 300.
Now, I did forget to give the...
Flight level 300, Delta 198.
You know what, let me get the intercom.
Maintain flight level 300.
Because at this point, we're going to be landing 1647.
Hello, Captain.
Delta 2345, climb and
How's it
maintain
going?
flight level 350.
I'll call you when you need to be seated.
Thanks very much.
Alright, well that doesn't help.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Because, yeah, I basically didn't give any of my descent warning. I was here and kind of forgot about that. We have all the services done.
Luke approach on 125.45. Walker 4021, descend and maintain 5,000, turn right heading 295.
Descend and maintain 5,000. Contact 125.45, Walker 4021. Oops. Descend and maintain 5,000. Contact 125.45, Walker 4021.
Albuquerque Center, good morning Chandler, altimeter 29.94.
Luke approach, Walker 4021, 10,000 feet, descending to runway 3.
Walker 4021, Luke approach. Good morning, Maricopa, altimeter 30.00. Velocity 0 Tango Bravo, turn left heading 225.
So we are all set there. Now we're going down more. Because again, we're trying to hit 5,000.
Skyhawk 596 Foxtrot Alpha 172 slant go 3 miles east of Buckeye, leaving 3,100, climbing 3,500.
In theory, we're trying to do that. I don't understand why it's going down as slow as it is.
Walker 4021, Luke approach. Proceed direct, Tattoo Eye. Descend and maintain 4,000 until established. Cleared for the RNAV runway 3 approach.
Descend and maintain 4,000, direct Tattoo Eye. Cleared for RNAV runway 3, Walker 4021.
TBM 2 Tango Bravo, roger.
So let's see, what have we got? Alright, we need to be above 4,000 there.
TBM 2 Tango Bravo cleared direct Tatooine. Descend and maintain 3,000. Cleared for the RNAV runway 8 approach into Goodyear.
Luke approach, TBM 722 Tango Bravo with you at 3,000.
Alright, we're going down a little bit.
Bravo, Luke approach, roger, altimeter 299.4.
Going down a little bit faster. We do, yes, I did turn the landing light on. Alright, I am going to arm. Oh, approach not selected. Forgot about that. I need to go here. Get that done. Then we'll go back to legs. So that was 132. So yeah, so about 138.
Tango Bravo, Luke approach, cleared direct Tatooine cross Tatooine at or above 3,000. Cleared for the RNAV runway 8 approach into Goodyear.
So we'll get
Cleared direct
to
Tatooine
5.
cross Tatooine at or above 3,000. Cleared for runway 8 approaching to Goodyear.
We're under 20 nautical miles out. We're going to be turning to the right, as you can see.
Tango Bravo with you, flight level 3,000.
So let's see. Are they set? Not yet. They haven't told me they're ready, so oh, that might be it.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. Everything is secured, ready for landing.
We're almost ready, actually, so you can take your seats now.
No problem.
Alright, so they need some certain amount of time.
Tango Bravo, Luke approach, radar contact. Fly heading 255 vectors to Buckeye. Then own navigation. Keep it at 210 knots until reaching 190,000.
Flying heading 255 vectors to Buckeye, then own navigation. I'll keep it under 210 until reaching flight level 190.
Okay, well, it actually grabbed the glide path, which is interesting. Normally that won't happen early, but that's okay.
Skyhawk 6 Foxtrot Alpha contact Phoenix approach on 126.
So I thought we were high. You can see at the rate we're going, you can see on the landing monitor we were at -8. Now we're going to flatten out. So
turn left heading 210.
again, it might not be the best.
7,000 left to 210, JetBlue 180 tree.
Alright, let's get out to 10% on the flaps.
Skyhawk 596
Obviously, once it turns at Tatooine, and at this point, now that we're locked in the glide path, we should be good. So let's see. We want to be at 158 at Rupoi. So we will leave that alone. We're down to under 15 nautical miles now. But yeah, it's interesting. It says above 4,000, but clearly the glide path isn't dropping. And some of it has to do with, again, where we're at with our speed. But there we go. Now we're locked in. So we're going to turn.
5906 Foxtrot Alpha, Luke approach, go ahead.
So we've grabbed the localizer.
Bonanza 2529 Whiskey. 9,800 descending to 3,500.
Bonanza 2529 Whiskey, Luke approach, roger.
So we should. No, we're not quite. We got to turn a little bit more to the right. So that should happen soon, and the runway will be off in that direction. But we're over 10 miles out, so it is a little ways. Get our gear down, because otherwise we try to go to 15. We're gonna get a higher complaint at that point. All right, so we're gonna get our get ourselves down to. Let's see, what's going to let us do it? 145. Now I can go to 20. Or 25, I'm sorry. So, there is the airport. That is where we're headed.
Contact Goodyear Tower on 120.1.
Goodyear Tower 120.1, Walker 4021. Goodyear Tower, Walker 41, on approach, runway 3.
Walker 4021, Goodyear Tower, wind 070 at 6, runway 3, cleared to land.
Runway 3, cleared to land, Walker 4021.
Winds calm. Runway 3, cleared for takeoff.
So, again, a little overlapping communication there, which happens, I guess, is what I've been told. So, alright, and now we'll get ourselves down to 138. And we've got flaps at the 30%. We should be good,
Commanding
but
India, November Echo, negative hold short of runway 3.
now what is it, 1800? Yeah, it's 1800 above at Petty.
Cessna 9er Papa Roger, after the option, make a left turn out to depart the pattern to the west towards Buckeye.
So yeah, it actually worked pretty well. Self-loading cargo, it's functional. Again, I forgot some things, but that's, my own problem. It's not anything with the program. And then SayIntentions has done perfectly fine. Amanda's handled things as she should. Question is, am I seeing traffic? Seeing a little bit, but it's really not, again, what we'd want or expect. There isn't a lot coming in. I mean, there are things leaving. Alright, but we're coming up on 1,000 feet. And less than 5 miles out. So that's kind of what I would have expected at that height, but obviously you can see we're at 2,000 feet in total, but obviously above ground is what we're worried about.
1,000.
So Phoenix is obviously not at sea level. Seems like I'm off a little bit. I don't know that seems much better, but It is. So I usually will get this down, especially since it seems kind of calm. Wind's only at 5 knots, as we can see on the landing monitor. Probably let it go down to, say, 300 feet. Between 200 and 300, and we'll disconnect and take control at that point.
Cessna 909 Papa, change my mind. This will be a full scope landing.
Cessna 909 Papa, runway tree, cleared to land.
Cessna 909 Papa on this field, 03 left.
Okay. So just kind of getting in position because I've got an autopilot button, but I don't have a auto throttle button. So we'll get those. We'll start to pull up a bit. Flare. Flare. Alright, 395, so not great. So that's the yelling of landing rate monitor. But the brakes are on, you can see everything's slowing down, so I'm not going to hit the brakes quite yet. Now we will. And we'll turn off. And we'll get our flaps going up. That should get us where we need. And looks like we're going to be told to go this way.
Walker 4021, welcome to Goodyear. Contact ground on 121.7.
Contact ground 121.7, Walker 4021. So let's get ourselves situated here. Obviously we had to come off there.
And if you need any help, please don't hesitate to ask. In behalf of our crew and all the team, we thank you so much for choosing
Goodyear ground, Walker 4021, request taxi to gate.
and wish you a pleasant stay. Thank you.
I never armed the speed brake. That's
Walker 4021, taxi to Park 23 via Alpha Romeo 1. Good day.
No, I don't know exactly where that is. So there is a way to have the taxi kind of show up as arrows. I need to figure that out. Because that will help, and that's going to be better than the taxi map to some degree. But I'm just not sure where the, there's trees in the middle of the parking lot there. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. Seem to be people here. We'll go over here. I don't know that this is really a gate. But we're gonna stop here because we are.
TBM 723 Tango Bravo Goodyear ground taxi to parking via Alpha. Have a good evening.
Wow, the one tells me 632. I hope I didn't land that hard. That would be bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. Once that happens,
I don't know if it's going to give me credit then. Shoot, I might be too heavy. Well, that's not good.
Goodyear ground, TBM 722 Tango Bravo, requesting taxi clearance to runway 3.
I really thought I was doing better than that.
Runway 3 via Alpha contact tower on 120.1 when ready for departure.
It says accepted, but I don't know that I'm really going to get credit. That would be not fun. I really would prefer not to have to do this again. Good news is it's not showing up, so I think it did give it to me. And I think, again, I'm thinking of the 550 for my other things. I think as long as I'm below 800 in here, I think I'm okay, actually. So let me see. Completed. Yep, Nascar 2022 is completed.
Taxi to runway tree via Alpha, hold short of runway tree.
So we have finished. So that is good stuff. Let me go ahead and talk to the ground crew.
Captain, next
You're loud and clear, 5 over 5.
Roger. Okay, Captain. Ground power is failed. Stand by. We'll start getting you offloaded in a couple of minutes.
Okay. Roger! The aircraft is secure and the jetway is connecting. You are clear to start deboarding.
Roger, commencing 909 Papa. Power. Commencing 909 Papa, contact.
Alright. So I just need to wrap things up. But, you know, we're here. We're not connecting via the jetway, actually, but let's see. I don't know that it's gonna let me. Okay, well, because I can't actually do anything here. So let's see. Let's see if I go to the PMDG stuff and do ground services, and we'll set things, and then we will request
Comanche 909er Papa Phoenix,
stairs.
Goodyear ground. Hey, Sebastian. The boys in the FBO told me you were new here. Welcome to SayIntentions. Cessna calling Goodyear ground. This is ground. Go ahead with your request. Information Tango is current.
Alright. So, should be good there. So there we go. We've got everything coming in.
Cabin crew, contact the cockpit, please.
Alright, let's see. Something's off in what I'm needing. They look like they're working the doors now. There we go, doors open.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure
cockpit to ground.
Any items on this plane. If you need any help, our staff will be punctual to give you any assistance. We wish
Comanche
you
909er Papa Roger standing by.
Embraer 225 Echo Mike, taxi to holding point Bravo 1 via taxiways Alpha and Charlie.
Hello.
Hi.
Taxiing to holding point Bravo 1 via Alpha and Charlie, Embraer 225
right.
Echo Mike.
Can I call you back?
Cessna 909er
No
Papa
problem.
taxi
They're
to runway
offloading.
3
I don't
Alpha
need
contact
anything
tower
now.
On 120.1 when ready for departure.
Just 25 passengers are left on board 520. So we got a B. Not bad.
Hello.
Hi. Everyone's offloaded. Fantastic landing, by the way. Much appreciated.
It was only 1.39 Gs, so even though it was a little heavy, it was good, so...
We aim to please.
Just give me a buzz if you need anything.
Route to cockpit.
Alright.
Go ahead.
Just a reminder, you're using software to track your virtual airline flight. You might want to finalize your flight now.
And I have done that, so we are good. We have
Roger.
finalized things. And we're all set. So I'm going to go ahead and get the self-loading folks gone after I click view the flight report, because that'll take me to the web page. And
John in the tower with you.
we will take
Cessna
a
909er Papa negative.
take a
John
peek
is not
here.
Switching over to tower, Cessna 909 Papa.
So let's see, G-force not so good. Okay, so some negative G-forces. Yeah, we knew we didn't communicate the engine to startup comms. And yes, I forgot all of that stuff, that we've reached cruise. Wow, I didn't even do the cruise thing. Crazy. Or the descending. And then obviously we didn't get accurate, or that we've started our descent. So that is my point. So overall, I was aware of what my challenge was, so that is good. But we have made it, and we're 34 minutes early according to the plans, so that was good. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead also. We don't need to be talking to our ATC anymore. We're done with that. And for those who have followed along and have come along on this journey, I thank you for that. That will end this series. We'll see what's coming. Like I said, right now A Pilot's Life is kind of where I would divert you to. That, the VFR series, always a fun time, and I'll probably throw some Neofly on here or there as well. But we'll see how things go. But thanks for following along. As always, if you've enjoyed it but haven't dropped a like or are not a subscriber, please consider those things, and I will see you next time.